Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Episode 25, 1/4 of the way to 100 of Over the Head podcast with Kyle Hartzell and me, Rat. And I think the theme of this week, at least from my perspective, is I was right about everything last week that we talked about. So let me quickly outline everything that I was right about. I was right about the Atlas beating the Cannons. You, Hartsey, were in fact wrong about that. I was right about the Water Dogs beating the Archers. You, Hartsey, were wrong about that. And the third thing that I was very right about was the face-off percentage of Trevor Baptiste. I believe we got to go back and fact check, but I believe it was if you get within 3 percentage points of his exact face-off percentage, you'll take a shot at tequila on this week's episode. And I think I said 67%, and he came in at 65. He was right on 67 at a late loss. So we're going to start today's episode by you paying your dues. Maybe we'll get a little more entertainment out of you too this week if we get a little tequila flowing in those veins.
You were right. Here we go.
Good. Very good. So pays his debt, good man. But in all seriousness, I feel like there's a lot to talk about this week. I mean, it's kind of like 3 teams have emerged here to dive right into it. The Atlas, the Water Dogs, and the Outlaws, all with like very impressive showings. Just as you get like really impressed by them, some serious concerns. You know, the Cannons have lost 3 straight. The Archers, are they like, it's crazy to see, like, are they the worst team in the league? It almost mirrors like the Water Dogs last year a little bit. Like, you just keep waiting for them to figure it out, and they're not figuring it out. And then you kind of had the battle of like, I don't know who's going to be the bottom feeder in the Chaos Redwoods, and the Chaos come out on top and kind of show their pedigree a little bit in that. So, you know, before we dive in and we'll talk team by team, game by game, just curious, you know, is there anything overarching on the weekend, that you want to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that sticks out to me the most is the Carolina Chaos. We've been talking about them, looking at their roster on paper, right? Their defense, we've talked about them. They're one of the best groups in the league, and obviously Blaze Reardon, their short stick team middies are but the story is them. Like they just keep finding ways to win. I think the scariest thing about them is how battle tested they are, right? I think they got guys on their roster. They hear the people from the bleachers. They hear what the people are saying. Like Cross Ferreira, he didn't dress last week. He comes out and he scores 2 big goals for them. A guy that no one's talking about, Owen Hiltz. Owen Hiltz, I think you need to put him in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. He was involved in 3 of the last 4 Chaos goals when they were down by 2. He had a slip pick. They threw it to him. I mean, he shoots the shit out of the ball. He's very accurate. Goal in the back of the net. He had an assist, and then he had another assist. But he's quietly. I mean, he didn't play the first 2-3 games of the season. I think it was 2 games.
He's been good.
But he might, if he plays those first 2 games of the season, he might be an MVP conversation.
Kyle, easy.
I'm just saying.
Easy. They scored 12 goals. Let's not get carried away. But I do think you're right. Like, this conversation goes all the way back to the college, and we were talking about, like, is it Hiltz or Mackesy at that? It's kind of the first lefty off the board, and everything on paper says Mackesy, but Peterborough, like, there's just Canadian Peterborough pro lacrosse player. It's just like, that was kind of the point that I was making, and I think you were aligned on. And I also was going to say Spencer Ford, the GM of the Chaos, when we had him on to like explain what the fuck GMs were in the PLL before, like, that was the thing. He said we were like, I think you asked him, what's a player that you really like? And he was like, well, one guy, we'll see, one guy I really like is Owen Hiltz. So credit to Spence. Like, he clearly had his eye on him, and he is totally, he's doing a great job. So the thing that I was going to just point out about this weekend, first off, the crowd in Chicago ruled.
It was awesome.
I think this is a trend. I don't have the data to support this, but I think this is a trend that, like, the crowds get better as the season goes. Like, it feels like later in the summer they seem to do better in attendance. But that crowd, like, Friday night, place was packed. It looked like an awesome, like, size stadium because it looked full. So kudos to them. We beat up on them sometimes, meaning like the league and the, whatever, the ops and all that. But that was a great job. Hall of Fame weekend, like turns out pretty nice weekend to have it. They had full crowd and like seemed like a pretty cool weekend in Chicago. They did the boat thing. Like it just seemed like they had a lot going on this weekend from, I don't know, from my perspective, which I thought was cool.
Did they invite Jerry Raganese, or did he just buy a plane ticket and show up? Why was he there?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I remember him sending us videos like, "Yo, they buy you a flight? Like, or did you just show up?" He's like on the boat. I'm like,
Jerry's everybody who's in the lacrosse world knows that Jerry just has his hands in everything. He's just plugged in. He probably built some logo shit for them on that, or you know what it was? Is Whirlpool was the sponsor of that boat, and Jerry hosted that like cooking series that Whirlpool sponsored, where he had, you know, Brendan O'Neill and Marcus and Tom and all these people come cook in his house. So, you know,
shout out Jerry Raganese. We love Jerry.
Put Jerry on. Put Jerry on. If you like, put him on everything. He should have been the host of the Paul Rabel's Going Places show. I would have loved to see Jerry do some of that shit like that. Like, so, but no. Here's so all good things except that fucking drone was the biggest disaster of the broadcast of the weekend. Not only and I know PLL is going to try to innovate, and they're going to. I mean, I got used to get all over them about the helmet interviews and how terrible they were because the players could never hear them. They've moved on from that. But now it's like a drone. The footage from the drone wasn't good. It was like dizzying and like you couldn't follow anything.
Erratic, very erratic.
But the more annoying part was the normal camera angle, and you're watching and then you're like, wait, what's that like fucking thing flying? And it would be like the drone was like in the shot of the normal camera. And it was just like, dude, who's flying the drone? Like, get it out of the picture when you're not on it. So anyway, this is a minor thing, but like you would have come in handy. They had Jerry come to Chicago. They should have had you bring like your bow and arrow to Chicago and shoot that thing out of the sky, because that thing was annoying as fuck.
It was whoever was controlling it. Like, yeah, it was erratic. I think a good.
Who do you think was controlling it? Who do you think was controlling it? Is that? I want to say can't be RJ. He's busy, but he seems like a drone guy.
I think it's probably like an intern, maybe. I don't know, but my thing is, I think there's a place for the drone. I think if you get it way high and just keep it stationary and looking down on the game, I think it'd be really cool to see. Like, you can see the defense, you can see the offense, like from a zoomed out thing. But when you're moving around like that, it's a good idea. They're trying to mix it up and do something different. I get it, but yeah, it was very erratic, and it was kind of wasn't great for me. But I agree with you.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump in and talk about some substance in the games here. The first one, the Atlas absolutely throttled the Cannons. So I'm gonna step out of the way and let you speak on this, and maybe from the Cannons' point of view. The Atlas looked like a problem. Basically, everything I said would happen in this game happened. I'm just going to point that out there. Baptiste dominated. Entenmann was very good. And the Atlas offense has just like come to life. Like I think I said to you after the episode last week, we need to do a better job of highlighting the depth on the Atlas offense. The rookie from Cornell, Hugh Kelleher, he's a problem. He's fucking good. Matt Traynor is very, very good. So you've got two rookie middies and then they're playing Reed Bowering at midfield. And then you've got probably the best midi on their team is Costabile. So they've got like this Bowering Canadian who's playing on the left side with Teat. They have these two horses, rookies, and Traynor and Kelleher. And then they have kind of the proven commodity in Costabile. And now you're also getting like Shelley's and Teat playing like MVPs that they are. Dixon, like that offense looks very good. What was your takeaway from this game? Because this was a fucking beatdown.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, like the halftime interview, Dana Boyle, I mean, Brian didn't look too happy, but like she was like interviewing him, was like, hey, Mike's in his face. First question right off the rip was like, you guys got bullied in that half. And he was like, oh, he was like, fuck you, pretty much. But she was right. They got bullied. Yeah. I mean, it was, that defensive unit, it was hard for me to watch them, how they defended picks. Like there would be guys like, the guy off the ball who was supposed to communicate, hey, pick left, pick right. He was like 5 or 6 yards off his man in the hole. And then like in the PLL, you cannot do that with the type of players that are on the field, right? You gotta switch. If there's contact, you need to be right next to the picker. You need to jump switch it. If you don't, they were just caught in like no man's land a lot.
So can we dig in on this more? Because we were saying in previous games, they're not switching and it's hurting them. They're trying to get through picks and it's hurting them. Like it hurt them. The most noticeable was with Sowers. Then it was like they came into this game with a strategy to switch, but they were like soft switching.
Yeah.
And they were like switching also on picks when they didn't need to, like way far away from the cage.
Yeah.
What I would call out about their defense this year is it hasn't seemed like they've had the same game plan 2 straight weeks, period, on pick
Yeah.
play. Like, we're not going to switch. Oh, now we're going to chip and get back this week. Now we're switching everything. Like, and to me, they're playing like a team that has on defense that has no clarity of like you're thinking instead of playing because it's like we're doing something different all the time. And I would like you, Kyle, like a big proponent of like you got more times than not switch. And if you're going to make a mistake, make it an aggressive switch, make it a double. But anything can work. Different teams do different things that can work as long as everybody kind of knows what we're doing and knows how to execute it. And they're spiraling a little bit on defense where it just looks like nobody's clear on what they're trying to do in 2-man games.
Yeah, and in the first half, right, the Alice put up 11 goals in the first half, and then third and fourth quarters respectively 3 goals. Like the other thing that frustrates me, it happened twice, is Zach Goodrich got switched off onto one of, it might have been Schellenberger, it might have been, I don't know who it was, but like then they early slide to Goodrich. Zach Goodrich does not need to be slid to. Zach Goodrich is one of the best on-ball defensive midfielders, I think, in the league. It just looks like there's some disconnect right now. They're going to respond. They got a big one this weekend, but like, it's really frustrating to watch that defense with the personnel. Obviously, I was there last year, like the personnel and how they're playing right now. But they got to figure it out. Like they have a huge one this weekend. They dropped an egg, like they laid an egg against the Chaos to like if they win that Chaos game to like go ahead of the pack a little bit further. Now they're like kind of in a iffy spot where they have to win this weekend. They have to make a statement.
It's a week to so this was actually I should have said this broadly about across the league, but anytime you think you know something in this league, like you don't know shit. It's just such a week to week league. Like everything changes week to week. And we both have lived this. Like, if you're in that Cannons locker room, it's like, oh fuck, what's happening? Change this, change that. Like, as leaders on that team, like you're basically trying to, if you're Brian Holman or if you're, Marcus or Gitz, leader kind of on that defense or Epple, whoever. A lot of it is like steady the ship. Hey, let's not overreact. Let's not, because they're one great win away from all of a sudden, hey, we're 4-3 and we're trending towards the playoffs, and we're like, it's just like. But that's not what we're going to do here on this podcast. We're going to live in the moment and be present and talk week to week. And like being present with this group, like there's fucking problems. Like they've lost 3 straight, and there's nothing like even season to season. If you came into this season and I looked at like Owen Grant, Keelty, and Epple on the same defense, it's like holy shit. But the reality of what I've seen with my eyes, like Epple doesn't look like defensive player of the year Garrett Epple that we've seen in years past. He's been more active on LinkedIn recently. Just one side note on that. But also naturally he's been at the top of the game for a long time. At some point, like you do start to go to back half of your career and like things change, and you probably need a younger guy to chase around the fast Dodgers. And that's something they've struggled with. Like they've struggled with who's covering the number 1 Dodger. And it really against Sowers, kind of does for everybody, but it's kind of in every game. Like Schellenberger had 5 and 2. They don't have like a number 1 cover guy. Keelty's coming off an Achilles tear, so I think he it's like in spirit he is that, but he's not really moving his feet like that. And then Bryce Young has never really been that. He's like a very solid complementary defenseman who's versatile, but like he's not a number 1 cover guy. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he was on Schellenberger. And like that's it's just. So it's interesting to see kind of how this season has gone for them. I still look, a lot of this just comes from my belief in Brian, and obviously, we don't shy away. Like there's personal relationships for us all over the place with this team. I do feel like they have the guys, especially defensively, to figure it out. And I don't feel like those problems are not fixable. It's like, let's get clear on a fucking game plan here. Let's not give up 2-pointers, which continues to hurt them, and let's handle our 2-man games. And then like, I think and then we have a great goalie who he hasn't played as well the previous few weeks. Like offensively, I actually think so. I know they had this big emphasis coming into the season on transition. Their 6-on-6 offense is playing relatively efficient, but I expect to see some changes there. Like, do you put so what, like, are we getting much out of McAsee? Like, I'm going back to, I was big on Hiltz in the draft. Like, I think Maxey has a bright future because I think he's a lacrosse guy, and but I just don't like. What is he? He's not. He's not super dynamic as a Dodger. He's not a stretch shooter, 2-point threat. Like I don't. You're not getting a ton there. Asher's, doing what Asher does, but he doesn't seem to be like the peak version of him. It just, I don't know. There's just something missing right now. And so it'd be interesting. Like they picked up Jules. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think it's like throw everything out, but what are the little tweaks the Cannons are going to make to just try to spark? You've lost 3 straight. Like you need a spark. Where's the spark going to come
and
from?
the thing that like when you look at the stat sheet, the biggest thing we've talked about this, like they need guys to step up that are not named Marcus Holman, Asher Nolting, Matt Campbell. Right, last week's game, like Asher Nolting 4 points, Coulter Max had 3 points. Yeah, Marcus was good, but like Coulter Max had 3 points, but people are going to see, oh, he had 3 points, but like those points didn't come until like the fourth quarter when the game was like over. Like that to me is like. Now, again, like, is he a good player? Yes, he's a good player, but like some of these guys have got to step up and they have to do it quickly because, like, Matt Campbell and, Drenner, Trainer, the Mick Kelly kid, he had a couple opportunities, but like they got to put the ball in the back. They had 5 shots, 1 goal.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about this. Guys that are not named Marcus Holman, Matt Campbell, and Asher Nolting need to step up and they need to produce because if they don't, like they're not going to be contenders. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I totally agree. One more side note to them, and then I want to switch back to the Atlas for a second. Tucci needs to stop getting penalties. He gets penalty every fucking game. Yeah. You're not winning faceoffs. Don't get penalties.
Yeah. And the other thing, like a guy that I know well in that roster, who's one of the most ultimate competitors I know, is Kirsten between the pipes. Right? He's not seeing he didn't see the ball. I think he had a 46 save percentage. Like that's a guy that's going to respond and he's going to emerge next week. But like they need more out of him coming out in the next week. So.
Yep, that's right. So we spent time on them. Let's go back to the Atlas for a second. Like the Atlas have been flirting with championships for
every year,
long time.
Every year since I was there, I think, right?
Basically, since you left, they've been on the verge of being a winning team. But like it's true. So like this version of the Atlas, like the younger, the Teat-led Atlas, right? Let's call it that. This seems like the most complete team, and I think first off, Schellenberger just like means bit. Like that guy's to me, he's Team USA. Yep. Like starting attack lock. Like he just looks like he's that.
And he's going, dude. I think they just announced he's the assistant coach for UVA. He's one of the coaches now. Now he's a full-time lax guy.
Yeah, he's a full-time lacrosse guy. Like he's so that kind of like now you have 1A and 1B or 1A and 1AA with him and Teat. Dixon, like kind of like Taylor on the like you have one inside guy on that offense, and it's like so it meshes really well. Like he knows his role, he does it. Dixon also dodged for a goal on Garrett Epple, which speaks to kind of my point. It was a misplayed pick, but like he took him to the rack for the first goal of the game, and it's like like that's our all-world defenseman getting racked by the off-ball player. That's a little concerning. The reason I think this is the best team is Entenmann. Like they've had this offense, they've had Baptiste, like they had that all last year. And Entenmann, again, is not a rookie, but he is like settled in and like taking ownership of his role and his kind of standing in this league. And he's very, very good, X Factor type good. I mean, this team was obviously an overtime loss to the Whips away last year. And now like Danny Logan looks healthy. He kind of looks like himself again. He's winning one-on-one matchups and dominating people the way we've seen him do that in the past. Like it's hard to poke holes in this team right now. And you just kind of feel like you turn them on and it's inevitable they're going to score 17 goals. And it's not about addition by subtraction, but like the moves they've made at midfield to commit to the youth and go with Hugh Kelleher and go with Matt Trainer and Costabile. You've got athletic, downhill, stretch shooting, dodging middies, and that just makes everything work. Now, all of a sudden, Teat, the defense is having to slide and Teat's getting the ball while the defense is rotating, and now skip passes are open. And like your guy can't just stand behind and shut off Shelley because you're having to be up part of slide packages because Hugh Kelleher is a freak athlete and he's winning his matchups up top. And I had I think one of the best assistant coaches in the league is Brian Cavanaugh on the Archers. He runs the box. He's just like Resch gets all the credit, but Coach Cav is so good for that group. And he had said something to me before the season about like that second D midi position is so important. Like when he looks at the Archers' success, he's like, we've been so good at D-Midi. And if you look at like the Atlas, he said this to me, so credit to him, but he was like, the Atlas were a really good second D-Midi away from, winning the championship last year. Like Levi, like the Whip Snakes basically just dodged that second D-Midi that whole game, including for the game-winning goal. The D-Midi that wasn't Danny Logan.
Yep.
Well, look at what the Atlas offense can do. They can do that. Whoever your worst player out there on defense is will get picked on by one of those 6 guys. And that makes them really hard to cover.
Yeah.
They're good, man.
Their attack, like if you want to beat the Atlas, you have got to limit that attack. Like 16 points from those 3 this past weekend. And also another shout out, like Costabile's having a quietly like one of the best years he's ever had. Like I think he's in the top 6 midfield production. But like if you want to beat them, you have got to limit that attack unit. They can't have they have 16 points, they're gonna win every game. They're gonna win every game.
Yeah. So no doubt. So credit to the Atlas, big week for them. They're like at this point, like I don't know mathematically, but like they're basically in the playoffs. It's just a matter of seeding. Them and the Water Dogs are going to look like probably battled out. Of course, this could all change in 1 week, but for that 1 seed in the East, but like they're going to be a team to be dealt with. I mean, I'd be shocked if we don't see them at least in the semifinals.
Yeah.
Like they look like they look like one of those teams here with 4 weeks of the regular season left. So second game, basically take everything we just said and change every time we mention Boston, call them Utah, and every time we mention the Atlas, call them Philadelphia. And it's basically the exact same fucking thing. Like the Water Dogs they just looked superior to the Archers in kind of every way in that game. And, the one difference to me between the Water Dogs and the Atlas is I think the Atlas are better in the cage. Like Dylan Ward, I'm not sure if Dylan Ward still thinks he's playing indoor, but he's like doing like he's taking he's using one hand on his stick a lot trying to make saves, and like shots are just like dunking in over his shoulders. But their defense, man, is young and big and mean, and like they didn't get fully exposed for. And I'm not saying he's playing bad; he's just not playing like all world Dylan Ward that we've seen. But the Water Dogs offense is, I mean, they are electric. Like it's the same, all the same things we're saying about the Atlas. Like they have MVP player in Sowers, in my opinion, the MVP this season, the toughest guy in the league to cover, and then it's just like weapons everywhere. I mean, we've said this week to week to week. They have all the middies. They have Jake Taylor, who's perfectly slotting in and playing off ball, off Sowers. McCardle is like still Kieran McCardle, and he's an all-time great. Like, and then their freaking face-off guy is also like
Pathakis,
dangerous. I never thought that he had that kind of game on offense, but he goes and plays 2-man with Sowers after every win, and they get a lot of good looks off of that. So they don't have a lot of holes. Ben Ware's dynamic at LSM.
Yep. Their defense is really good, right? Ben Ware had 3 points on the weekend, 2-pointer. He's starting to find a groove on the transition piece. That's going to be scary moving forward for teams going against him. But yeah, the Water Dogs they're for real. They're a legit contender, and their attack unit had over 10 points. Kelly's starting to find, he had a big 2 in that game, so he's starting to find his game a little bit. It just takes some time to find, some teams take a little bit longer than others coming out of the gates. But yeah, man, their offense is scary, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, everybody's at 3 wins, 2 wins, so anything could happen this weekend coming up. But the Water Dogs offense, they're the best. Obviously, Michael Sowers, he's an MVP, top of the race.
I mean, I put him right. I mean, you have 3 teams, but for best offenses, I'd put them in New York side by side.
Yeah, 100%.
Like those two units. I mean, Denver, I don't think is far behind, but like those 2 units to me look like the
I would put Denver. I'd put Denver right there at 3. I mean, flirting with 2.
Yeah, right there. Which probably, I mean, those are the 3 best teams right now. Like
for sure,
clearly, I would say in the league. But so here's my thing with just pro lacrosse in general. And you lived this, you know this just like I do. The team that needs to win wins most of the time. Meaning, if you have a 3-2 team play a 2-3 team, you can bet on the 2-3 team. Like in that, when the 3-2 teams beat the 2-3 teams, that to me is like a sign of like this team is real. Because, and we've seen this from the Water Dogs, like them show up when they were 3-1 and kind of seem uninterested, and Sowers isn't like super aggressive as a Dodger, and it's just kind of like. And this was a chance for them to do that. Like you're playing the 2-time defending champs who we know have a lot of pride and who need this win. And you always want to win, but you're not like, you're not on a losing streak. Like it just didn't feel like it's as important of a game for them to get, and they still get it, and they get it convincingly. That's a sign. You know who we also never talk about when we talk about them, which is insane, is we don't talk about Courier. And he is just fucking like he's just doing what he always does. He's
Picking
everywhere.
up ground balls, 2-man game.
Oh, scoring goals. He like pinged the top corner on a shot. Like that guy he's probably the best mini they have. And we always go straight to Hannah and Kelly. But it's like he's just so freaking good. And he's, he brings like a toughness and a grit to them as well. So they're like credit to them. Like I actually think I kind of thought that about both the Outlaws win over the Whipsnakes, which we'll get to, and then the Water Dogs over the Archers, where it's like this is a game where my experience in pro lacrosse tells me pick the Whipsnakes and pick the Archers, even though I did pick the Water Dogs because they're the teams that need it more. And so often, like when you're playing with that like kind of energy, if you earn those extra possessions and it's a ground ball or it's a little bit more focus, it's a little bit more aggression from your top guys. And that just didn't happen. Like and that's what makes me feel really confident in saying, you're looking at like deep playoff run type teams with these guys because, those games are sometimes the tougher ones to win. So credit to them. Now, what's up with the Archers? Like, is this just it? Like, do they suck?
This weekend, like I don't think they suck. They have the roster that won them all these championships. Like Schreiber again, 5 shots, no goals. He did have 3 assists. Grant Ament, no goals, 3 assists. Sam King, they put him in attack. He has 4 points. Now that's a bright spot for them. I thought he looked good down low. But like Connor Field's not showing up this weekend. Like if Connor Field shows up and he has his 3 points, 3 goals, whatever it is, I think they might probably win this game or they're in the game to win it. No, you don't think?
Yeah, it would be sick. Give him 3 goals and you're still down by 2.
I understand that. But I'm just saying if he's scoring goals,
I know. I
think
it doesn't work like that. But
and the other guy that first game back from injury, Trey Leclerc.
Yeah, and he got going.
He looked good, stepped up.
But dude, this is what I mean, Hartsy. If I had told you the Archers are going to put Sam King's going to move down and have 4 points and starting an attack, Tom and Grant are both going to have 3 assists. Trey Leclerc is going to get going and have 2 points. What's the result of the game? You would have told me they won.
Yeah.
Like that's all the things you would have said to say, oh, that sounds like a winning. And they didn't just lose; they got cooked.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of like I'm wearing my hat because I knew I was going to have to do this, but I think they might be snake bitten. Like it reminds me so much of the Water Dogs last year. Like the last year with the Water Dogs, it was the same shit. You're like, with the Water Dogs, we're losing a lot of 1-goal games, which the Archers are getting blown out. But it was just kind of like, how is this team not winning? Look at all this talent, but they just kept not winning. The same thing's kind of happening here. It's like at a certain point, you are who you have shown you are. And I just don't. There's 4 games left in the season. Like, wow, what you can't like. They're not going to magically.
I don't know who else they have at midfield, but dude, Dyson Williams right out of the box is not it. Like they need to figure out. They need to get someone else up there. I don't know what their roster looks like, but like, their offense has been the problem the whole entire year. Their defense is still one of the best in the league, but like giving up that many goals, obviously that's not going to be helpful.
The Water Dogs have always been a little bit of a hard one for their defense. Like I mean, they're a hard one for everybody's defense right now, but you can go back and look. I mean, even when they beat the Water Dogs in the championship, remember they had an 8-2 lead and they ended up winning like 17-16. Like it's a tough matchup. And they in the past offensively have been able to play like against, you would think of them against the Water Dogs or an Atlas is like, we have just as good of an offense and we have a slightly better defense. And this year, they'd still have a better defense than those 2 teams, but their offense just is so far behind.
They had Dylan Ward a credit with 4 saves, a 26.7 save percentage. That's got to be wrong. Or is it right?
I don't think he was not.
Or is it right?
Which is also what's concerning to me because it's like this wasn't like a Blaze situation where you scored 11 goals and he had 25 saves. Like I'm telling you, go pull up some clips. Like Dylan Ward, like was playing like he was in a Mammoth NLL jersey with his stick down between his legs, like doing this number. Like he's not quite. I don't know if he's fully transitioned, but like, I mean, I played with him, love him. Like he's an all-time great. I mean, he's won a gold medal. He's done so. Like he, I put him in the category of like, wouldn't shock me if he showed up in the playoff game and had 25 saves one day. But like to me, again, if you look at the contenders, like he's the worst of the goalies in these teams that we're looking at as like championship contenders right now, which are the Atlas, the Water Dogs, and the Outlaws. So it'll be interesting to watch there. So we'll look ahead to kind of some of the next week's matchups because, to your point, Cannons Archers out of those two games next week is going to be a very big telling week. So the Saturday, the early game, Chaos Redwoods. I mean, look, let's just call it what it is. Like I think the Archers are proving us wrong week by week. I think we both probably would have thought this is like who's the worst team in the league kind of game. Now, it's still hard to imagine saying this, but like I don't think you can say that anymore. I think you have to put the Chaos ahead of the Archers, and now it's kind of like Redwoods, Archers, Whipsnakes almost to some extent are like the bottom feeders. But the Chaos, man, you said it, like the pedigree. And I was talking to somebody, I think I might have said this on here last week, but if you look at the matchup with the Redwoods, who's the best player on the field? Blaze, period, easily. Who's the second best player of the field? I think for my money, I'd probably go Rowlett. Like team, if you look like Team USA type, all pro talent, he's there. Like who's the third best player on the field? Maybe this is where it gets complicated, but like I almost think you could make Newman argument there. Like it's just so their offense is so not scary to me. And their defense even isn't they don't have great D midi play. They're not, but like the Newman, Rowlett, Ray, and Blaze combo is an elite combo of players.
Yeah, and Scott Smith he had 2 opportunities to score in that game, and he defensively, like he doesn't really get beat either. So their pull core is really good, but their short stick D midis, they're just not. They're not good. And I think a lot of teams.
Kyle shows up in my text message every week like these fucking Chaos D midis are so bad.
But to tell you the truth, like a lot of these teams that play the Chaos, they just don't slide too much to these D midis. But they're
Blaze is it's the D midi plus Blaze. Like that's the kind of thing. Like
that's what I'm saying. Teams that like the Redwoods scored like 5 goals in the first quarter, and what they were doing, they were moving the ball, drawing slides, swinging it. And then they got away from what they were doing because they were just like beating the D middies, and they would take these alley shots, and Blaze is like just fucking catching them with his hand. It's like you can't do that. You got to like draw a slide, or like you dodge that midi down the alley. There's like a half-ass slide, bounce out, and then re-attack, draw a slide. You really to beat the Chaos's defense and Blaze Reardon, like in my opinion, you have to be so goddamn patient, especially in a 52 shot clock. You have to like be patient. I don't think you can take the first shot because Blaze is just staring at you running down the alley. He's gonna fucking save it. Like 9 out of 10 times, he's gonna save it.
Good point.
And
you're 100% right about that. They bait you into taking a shot that it probably isn't a terrible shot for you, but
it's what they bank on. It's what they bank on because it's percentages, and it's like they're gonna bank on that. But like the 2 shots that went in for the Redwoods, like Romar Dennis hit a 2. It was kind of the bounce shot, and then Jared Connor's shot from like the fucking parking lot. It was a bounce shot. Blaze just didn't see it. But you take those 4 goals away, like Chaos is probably winning this game by like 2 or 3 maybe. But like their defense and Blaze is winning them games, and like the most like the slap in the face, like the PLL released the MVP ranking. I think Michael Sauer was at the top, Logan McNaney, and then Liam Entenman was at fucking 3. Liam Entenman is in like 5th in save percentage. Blaze isn't even on the list. Blaze Reardon should be number 3. Logan McNaney, obviously, he's leading the league. I think he's beating Blaze by like 5 or 6 in save percentage realm. But like to not have Blaze Reardon on the MVP like candidacy at number 3, like Liam Entenman is not number 3. He shouldn't be on the fucking list, in my opinion. But like Blaze Reardon is winning them the fucking games. Say what you want. He's averaging 16 saves a game. Like
give him the all-time MVP. We don't need him in the every year MVP conversation. Just give him the goat. Like put a little goat horns on his head, on his helmet, and let's just. It's just.
But like, if you're not gonna put him on the if you're not watching the last couple wins they've had, he's winning them fucking games. Like the saves he's making late in the game, like it's so deflating as a team. But like the thing that lost the Redwoods the game is like they had 2 offsides penalties. They had to delay a game penalty with the rookie Belsari or whatever his name is. Like throws the ball after they blow the whistle. Like the offsides penalties are killer. They had 3 of them. They came back to bite him in the ass. But like I picked them to win this game. I bet against the Chaos, and shame on me because like.
Shame on you. Look, here's what I'll say about that, though. You got to have a winning record if you want an MVP candidate for me. And they're now at 3-3. So if they win again next week, I bet you we are going to see Blaze's name showing up on that list. But like for me right now, you pick your player off the Atlas. pick your player off the Water Dogs and pick your player off the Outlaws. Like there's your MVP finalist, and it's probably I don't know, Pat Cav. For me, it's probably Schellenberger off the Atlas.
So they have it. I have it right in front of me. Michael Sowers, Logan McNaney, Liam Entenmann, Jeff Teat, Schellenberger, Kavanaugh, which is a good list. But like, dude,
it is. But yeah, the goalies, I mean, it's not a bad list. It's just when you think of the Atlas, you think of their offense. You don't think of. I mean, you do think of it. You're starting to think of Entenmann, but like, I feel like there's a better argument to be made for McNaney, to your point, on the Outlaws over even Entenmann, just because I mean, again, they won this game with 16 goals. Like it was a good performance by Entenmann, but it's their offense. Like, anyway, whatever. MVP, MV, Schmee. We're looking for championships here. So all right, let's move on then to the last game, and then
last point. Sam Hanley's been terrible. They got to get rid of him.
Like the Redwoods have been this this island of misfit toys, like, and it's catching up to them. Yeah. And
Sam Hanley wants to be, the way he's playing, it looks like he wants to be banking. Like he looks so disinterested in playing lacrosse. And I might be wrong. I don't know the kid. Seems like a great guy. Got to get rid of that kid, in my opinion. Yes, no.
I think it's the worst roster in the league. And I think coming into the season, it was the worst roster in the league. And they caught this little spark, right? And so I don't think like Train really can be judged off of this. Also, great hot mic moment with him this weekend, screaming at the refs. The ref thing hurts. No,
but he wasn't wrong though. The ref did kick the ball 20 yards.
Yeah, the refs fucked up, and Train decided to say this league is a fucking joke. Which the funny part about that is like Train loves the league. Like we know he loves pro lacrosse. That's why he has this job. But like you are just feeding every PLL troll there is by saying that. Like that's what like every Paul hater, league hater that there is. Hears that is like, yep, see, even the fucking coaches think the league is a joke. So good job to Train on that one. Congratulations, Coach Train. First little bit of controversy in his early career here. But look, I think like he ultimately will be judged, in future years. Like I just think he inherited a roster that's not great, and you rode a wave a little bit, but it was like that again. Sam Hanley came in and hit a 2-1 in his first game, but it's like the Sam Hanley that we've seen for 3 years is showing back up. Like it's not, and the goal and about a lot of guys.
Yeah, and they need more out of Ireland. I think Ireland. Face off Ireland. Ireland.
The country?
Ireland. Yeah, face off Ireland. Okay. Both the brothers. They needed more out of him at the face off X, and then the goalie play has been. He made some big saves, but like, dude, 50%.
I don't think he's a starting goalie, like a championship starting goalie. And look, I just also think like Dylan Malloy has been a great story, but there is a reason. He's an all like I know how. But there's a reason he has not stuck on PLL teams. Like there was a while where there was this like blackballed story with him because he stayed in the MLO longer, but like that's not true. Like he was on the Chrome for a minute. He was on like teams have brought him in and he hasn't stuck. And he was off to a great start with the Redwoods. And I'm not like I don't even know the stats. Like he's still maybe playing okay, but there's a reason.
He came out hot. He took Rowlett to the net, wrapped around, beautiful goal, and then kind of like. After that,
again, he's good. Like I'm not saying that he shouldn't be like. I'm not saying he shouldn't have a job. But if he's your best offensive player and he's been a guy who's like not stuck on a roster, like it just goes back to my point. I think any given day he can be great. Ryder can be great. Like, but they don't have any like proven commodities. And frankly, anywhere on that roster, like multi-year all pros, not a single one that I can think of anywhere on that roster, where every other team has at least one or two of those guys that you can point at. So I just think that's at the end of the day, like cream rises to the top. And unfortunately, I don't know that that's it for the Redwoods. Now, we'll see, but it wouldn't shock me if they're.
We just talk shit about them. They're gonna win 4 or 5 straight.
Won't matter. I'll talk about them next week like I knew all along. Culture. That's culture. So, all right, last game here. Outlaws, Whipsnake. So this one surprised me. Whipsnake Rat is dead. he had a good 7-day run. I started the show talking about all the things I was right about. I think I picked this as my championship preview, and the Whipsnakes just did offensively. And my whole point with them was their offense can beat you in so many different ways, and they got so many different guys that can win a matchup. And here they come out and just lay an absolute egg. JT Giles Harris is shutting down everybody he covers. So like TJ Malone is completely eliminated by JT Giles Harris, and then no number 2 on Whip Snake's option like really comes out and plays a great game. So definitely concerning for me with them, but I think like, you know, again, the team that we hated on the most early in the season is now just absolutely rolling, and that's the Outlaws, and it's Bernhardt, and it's Kavanaugh, and it's ball movement, man. I think that's about the Cannons, not to bring it all the way back to them, but like something as simple as like, hey, when we get out there today, on defense, we're going to get our fucking hands on people. And on offense, we're going to move the ball. Everybody's touching it every possession. Nobody's holding it for more than 3 or 4 seconds. Move the freaking ball. Like that was the whole thing that they talked about that like kind of unlocked this offense. And now it's this identity. And who's the player that's scoring the most? Pat Kavanaugh. And I think that the great comparison, and we can get into this conversation now on the Cannons, is Marcus Holman. In stagnant offense, he's an all-time great, but he doesn't have these pop games. But when the ball is moving, it always seems to find him for the shot, be it a 2-pointer, be it a mid-range one, or an inside finish, or a rebound pit. Like it's just like when the offense is humming, he seems to be the guy who ultimately finishes plays. Pat Kavanaugh is doing that on this offense. Like it's not like he's just winning matchups one-on-one and dodging and scoring, or playing 2-man games like Sowers and just facilitating. He just always seems to be the guy on the other end of the play, whether it's in transition or whether it's off of ball movement. It's a style that really seems to bring out the best in his skill set. He deserves a ton of credit. Like he's been all over the place. I think Jared Bernhardt deserves a ton of credit. I think Coach Sedan deserves a ton of credit. This team is fun to watch. They found the personality that I was hating on them for not having in the beginning of the season. And a lot of that personality to me, it's been McNaney on defense, which really meshes well with like the Bernhardt Manley, just, you know, mature, kind of calm, even keeled leadership style. And then it's Cav on offense. It's fucking scrappy. It's ball movement. It's people movement. And yeah, Bernhardt. I mean, it's credit to this team, man. Are we going to go back to the Denver fucking Outlaws going to start winning all the championships again, just like they did in the MLL? Because that was a pain in the ass to deal with back then.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a call out here for, you know, the University of Maryland. You should probably fire Tillman for giving McNaney the number 1 jersey, because he's wearing number 30 and he has a 71% save percentage in professional lacrosse. If you let him wear number 30 or whatever other fucking number he was going to wear, he'd be the best goalie in college lacrosse. You guys would have won the national championship.
He was the best goalie in college lacrosse, and they went to the national chachampionship.
You would have won the national championship. You would have won the national championship. He wasn't wearing the number 1. But
give me a break.
He had a 71% save percentage, and then the guy that the Whip Snakes took over him, the Penn goal, he had like 50 something. So like,
yeah, what a no. Yeah. McNaney went first. The Whip Snakes. Whip Snakes drafted. Yeah.
Okay,
he was the
pound sign. Pound sign. I'm wrong.
It's okay because he was projected. A lot of people were projecting that kid Carroll to go higher, but he didn't. So the like McNaney is like, it's everything you saw in college and almost better. Like he just looks so calm and comfortable in the cage. And I know I just said it. I'm going to say it again. JT Giles Harris. Like when I got a little late to this game, when I turned it on, the broadcaster was like, "Yeah, TJ Malone, like not doing much." And I was just like, "Of course he's not doing much." He's done this to literally. He does it to everybody he covers. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't matter who it is. He's doing it to Sowers. He's doing it to Malone. Like these are the best playmakers in the league that he's just shutting down on a weekly basis. So to me, he's making that race with Hasek much tighter. You know, like if the Outlaws keep winning and the Archers keep losing, you might see JT as the defensive player of the year this season, when we thought it looked like Graham was kind of on this clear-cut path to that. This complicates that decision a little bit to me. You know, I think
Casino too, man. He had 6 ground balls, 4 caused turnovers. That kid's he's been great the last 3 weeks, man.
I love him. Great. He's awesome. So yeah, the Outlaws are so good, and like a lot of teams want to run transition, and like it just, you see the makings of a great transition team. It's, you know, it's D-middies who can get up the field fast, like speed at the top of your defense, and they've got that with Geddes and Tarafinko and Pacino, right? 3 guys who like they get up and out quick. A goalie who makes clean saves and throws outlets up field. They have that. And then, you know, every team has attack that knows how to playing transition.
I still want to see one game with Jared Bernhardt at X, Wisnauskas, Kavanaugh, and Brennan O'Neill coming out of the box. I don't know if we'll see it. I hope we do see it because
I know I do too. But I mean, what they're doing is working, and like
yeah,
I just
100%.
it's really again. I want to just keep giving credit to like Bernhardt's seems to be almost like the engine that's making this all go. Like he's clearly the guy who like I go back to like kind of Grant has been on the Archers, like you know, where it's like he comes out of the box and the ball is going to him and he's like the party starter and he's he's very good at that. And he plays very unselfishly, but he makes that whole generation of Maryland teams, they went 18-0. Like that's how they played. It was just like when Wisnauskas was part of that, and he, you know, he doesn't seem to have the same pep in his step, but like it's make the right play, it's make the simple pass, and you know you can see they've all bought into the ball movement. Like there's not, you know, I was critical of their personality, but now let me compliment it because they deserve it. There's not a lot of selfishness on that offense. Like even players great as Brennan O'Neill or Jared Bernhardt, like you don't see a whole lot of me ball or any me ball out of those guys. Like the ball. Nobody has a problem. It doesn't look like anybody's hunting points. It's like whoever's on the receiving end of this. So, man, they're good. They're very good. They might win. You know, so look. I think we go through all the games. Oh, let's talk about the Whip Snakes a little bit more real quick. Like, to me, this was one of those 32-second shot clock games. Like Nards was 71%.
He was 71%. They still
6 goals and like. It was there were like 3 plays where the shot clock went off the faceoffs without them even throwing the ball in the corner. Like the young guys, Aiden Carrolls of the world out there, like didn't realize that what was left on the shot clock. There was like a possession where he won the faceoff. They kind of subbed. A midi dodge down the alley. They threw it to X. They threw it to the backside. There was like a little wing dodge. It went back through X. It went to the other side, and Carroll caught it on the wing and like had a good matchup, dodging an approach. And all of a sudden the buzzer went off. And not only did he not corner it or shoot it, he just had to drop it like above GLE. And we pick it up and we're running the other way. It was like they had no awareness, but it also fed my point of view on the freaking 32-second shot clock, which was like they were running good offense. They just didn't have time to run good offense. And they looked out of rhythm the entire time. So look, it kept feeling like this team going to pop, but I'm kind of now it's like back to saying the same thing about the Archers, man. The 2 teams that were in the championship last year, and it's like they're the bottom feeders. Like you're not bottom feeders because I mean the Redwoods are down there too, but like at a certain point, you are what you put out there, and the Whip Snakes have shown flashes, but like
Brad. I mean, Brad Smith, no points, 2 shots. You got to get him more shots. He should be shooting 5 to 8 shots a game out of the midfield, and then like. Yeah, TJ Malone was held in check. Pinnell at one point was held in check. Like, not much to show on their offensive side, right? And then this weekend, Rob Pinnell is away for his wedding. Congratulations, Rob. Is Matt Rambo coming back? What are they going to do at attack? Is it going to be Brandow? Who's going to go to attack and fill that spot because Rob's not playing this weekend? So it'll be interesting to see.
Like, that's wild to me. You're in the middle of fighting for the playoffs.
And you're going to get married on the day. Your wife wants to get married in Italy. You fucking come on, man. Mackenzie said that. You're like, hey, I'm
0.0% chance would I have gotten married on the weekend of a game. Like, there's just no version of that where that would have happened. And like, it just is what it is. Rob can make his own decisions. Yeah. If I were on that team, I'd not be happy with him. Like, and not now. I'm not going to complain to him now. It's like obviously they've been planning it. But it's like, dude, if you're not going to retire and you're going to come here as a free agent and you're going to not play week when there's 4 games left and we're fighting for a playoff spot, like that fucking sucks. Like it's just like, this is just a thing that happens in pro lacrosse with weddings. Most of the time it's not guys scheduling their own weddings. It's like, I'm going to go be the best man. That doesn't happen in other pro sports. Like, you know, in like baseball or basketball where there's lots of games, guys miss every now and then. But like in a sport like where there's 10 regular season games, like I just think, look, I'm just going to speak honestly about it. Like if I were his teammate, I would not be happy.
Look, I was supposed to. Look,
I invest all this fucking time, and you're like, this is it. It comes down to we have to win this fucking game,
Yeah. Look, I was supposed to go to the wedding, but I opted not to go because I want to watch the games and be prepared for the podcast that we record on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like he's got to make his own decisions, and like I made mine, and I'm not going because I want to be here and want to watch
Well,
PLL lacrosse this weekend. I don't want
credit
to
to
be in
you.
Italy. I don't want to be in Italy
Credit
this
to you.
weekend.
Look, it is what it is. Like I'm not. You should live your life, but I just like I don't know if I'm not Stags or Snides. Like like I don't know that I wouldn't be playing him the week. Like it's just so hard. Like you've built your offense. You're trying to get into a rhythm, and now you're going to take out a key piece for 1 week, and then are you going to stick him back in? Like I don't know. Maybe it's like a little bit of a trigger point for me, but because I've always thought like B do have like if you want to be viewed amongst the top tier sports, like it's not wait until you're making $1 million to treat it like you're making $1 million. It's treat it like you're making $1 million now, so that one day somebody will make $1 million doing it. And I just, I love Rob. I love, Maggie's great. Like it's just like it's not really about him, even though it sounds like it is with how I'm saying this.
Happy wife,
if
happy
I were
wife,
on
happy
that,
life.
if I were on that team, it just wouldn't make sense. Like I would be really frustrated. Like it just. So whatever. There's my piece on that. But I think the timing on that's hard. You're playing the Water Dogs, and if you lose, it doesn't matter what the Cannons do. If both teams keep losing, the Whipsnakes are out. Like they have the worst record in the Eastern Conference right now. So they've got to find a win. And you can look at the schedule. There's no freaking easy wins in this league. Like it's hard to find a win every single week. I just that's a tough one, but it's not like hasn't been TJ Malone this year. And look, I guarantee you he was forthcoming with Stags when he signed and just said, "Look, I'm getting 100%. Married. And this is part of the deal."
That out as soon as it happened, 100%.
Dude, and there's a stage in his career where he can do this stuff. So like, I can not just backpedal off everything I said. Like you're at year 15, you're a Hall of Famer. You probably could have just retired after this season. You say, look, I still love it. I want to keep playing. Yeah. So maybe it is a little bit of a different situation. But now when you get here to this week and it's like, we really need to win. It's like, oh, fuck, this sucks. Like, it sucks not to have our guy. So it is what it is. But anything. So, okay, let me quickly say the games and I'd love to just hear biggest game or predictions for next week. So Atlas Redwoods, Archers Chaos, both on Friday. We're in Fairfield, Connecticut. So we're on Eastern, 6:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern this week. And then Saturday, 3 p.m., 8 p.m., Cannons Outlaws at 3 p.m. on ABC and ESPN+. The Pat Cav going back to play his old team, the Reeling Cannons. Like, there's lots of good storylines. That one should be fun. And then Whipsnakes Water Dogs is the nightcap, is Saturday Night Lacrosse at 8 p.m. on Saturday. So, I just highlighted like the Outlaws Cannons is the most compelling of those matchups to me. What do you think? Any bold predictions for us this week?
I just see, the Friday games for me. I think the Atlas beat the Redwoods by at least 3 or 5 heading into this weekend. I think the Atlas are hitting a stride right now. That's going to be tough to beat. Archers Chaos, the ESPN.
It's a big game in the Western Conference stand. Like, it's a big game.
Huge game. It's a massive game. And then like the Utah Archers, Carolina Chaos game, ESPN2, we got our national television game. I think this game is going to be a 1-goal game. I do not like, for the Chaos, I do not like that offense matching up against that defense. I think they're going to get bullied. None of their attackmen are going to get to the goal. Their D-Midi stable is going to pressure them way out to the fucking perimeter. Archers' backs are against the wall. They got to win a game, and I think I can't bet against the Archers here. I think the Archers are going to win by at least, I said 1 goal. I think 1 or 2 goals is going to be a good game. ESPN2, Blaze is going to have – I think Blaze is going to have 20 saves in this game.
Yeah, I think Blaze and Dobson. I think it'll bring the best out of Dobson, too, being across the field from Blaze.
For sure. And then, what do you think in that game? You on the same page?
Yeah, I think I am on the same page. It's
just, the one week you do not take the Archers, they're gonna show up, and then that's when it's gonna happen.
Well, no, I didn't take them last week though, so they need me to pick them because last week I picked against them, and I'm gonna pick them this week. I do. I wore my Archers hat. It's more just about what I said before. Like the Chaos are coming in on a little bit of a winning streak, more likely to maybe have a little bit of a lull. I think you make a great point. Like this chaos offense against that Archers defense concerns me more than, the Archers offense has seen this chaos defense quite a bit. It's another week of Trey back. Like, let's see. But I think the Archers win that game by 2 or 3. Look, I think
the other interesting thing, Scott, is like the Archers face-off department. Like, what the hell? What's going on there? I think Sisselberger's hurt, so like chaos. Did they have the edge there?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting this weekend. For sure.
The chaos stink at the X2. I guess Nacio's been doing pretty well.
Do they?
Actually.
Do they though? Like Ireland. He was neck and neck with Ireland. He won some huge facial. He scored a goal. Like,
you're right. You're actually right. He's good. He kind of like was out of the league for a while, but like on Team Canada, he's always done really well. You're right. I might be wrong.
Well, Scott apologize right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. They have the advantage there, but let's see if they are able to take advantage of those extra possessions with that offense.
Archers defense is no joke, right? They're the best in the league, I think.
So Outlaws Cannons, look, I think this game is going to get very chippy. I think you're going to see a very, very physical. Like we've seen this for the Cannons. Like their MO is like back against the wall, we start throwing punches, like quite literally sometimes. And I think this is that game.
ABC game too, national television.
And a storyline with and look, you got Apple and Bryce Young. Like these are some, they get some, you have some chippy guys on the Cannons that know how to play physically. And I also think you're gonna have a little fire in Pat Cav's belly, like the team that whatever. It's not like there's animosity, but it's I don't know. You didn't start me at attack, and look what I'm doing at attack now. And we talked about this, but I think I was super critical of him at the start of this season. I was dude, demanding a trade and this and that. He's proving from my perspective, he's proving me wrong. I think I still kind of, the part of me that still kind of hates it is it's soft, but then there's another part of me that's he and Marcus are everything I said about Marcus and how he better than maybe anybody of all time, he plays off of good offense. And when offense is humming, Marcus is scoring and producing at a really high rate. And Cav, to me, more than you would have assumed when you look at them, is the same type of player. Even at Notre Dame, he's not your traditional X attackman, back and forth at X and feel he just kind of he's a flowy in the offense movement guy who then you look up and all of a sudden you're this cat has 4 points and he scored them in 3 different ways and and I do kind of think for him, looking at it, of course you're not going to walk away from Marcus Holman. You could say, well, Brian Holman, doesn't matter who the coach is. Marcus is an all-time great player. He's a champion. He's a leader. He's all of these things. So I don't necessarily blame the Cannons, but if you're Cav, you're looking at it I don't see them in the next 2 to 3 years walking away from Marcus or Asher. So when am I ever going to play my natural position on this team? And look what he's done. If you're going to go force a trade, you go onto a team with O'Neal and Bernhardt and Wisnowskis, and he's the guy to me. That's their MVP candidate. I do think credit to him. He's it's just going to be an interesting dynamic. There's going to be some competitive energy between those two, between those two groups, Pat Cav in particular and the whole Cannons team who, went with Marcus and Asher over him, essentially, to some extent. Because when he asked for the trade, if you sat down with him and said, look, you are a starting attackman next year, we're going to run Marcus out of the box, or we're going to move on from Asher, he probably doesn't ask. He probably reconsiders the trade.
No,
he's asking for a trade because he wants to start at attack.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't knock him for that. He wants to play attack. This game, the face-off's going to be locked up. They're around 47%, 45% on the year, both guys. If I'm the Cannons, I am short-sticking Pat Cavanaugh or Wisnowskis with Zach Goodrich to come out just to do that for 2 reasons. One, their ball flow and everything that's going on for them is working via teams putting all their poles on the attackman. But you got to do something to knock him out of sync. And I think if you short stick Pat Cavanaugh, they're going to press the issue via dodging a short stick. And then Zach Goodrich, I think, can D up, put clamps on him, and then either short stick him or Wisnowskis. I think you got to mix it up against the Outlaws to get them out of a rhythm, because right now they're hitting on all cylinders, and you need to do something to get them out of sync. I love short sticking Pat Cavanaugh with Zach Goodrich, or putting Zach Goodrich on Logan Wisnowskis, because Zach Goodrich, again, they've been sliding him a little bit way too much.
I know you've been pointing that out, but he hasn't. I watch every game. He has not popped in any.
His arms, dude. His length, every time he looks like he's getting beat, his stick is underneath. He lifts crowbars, does all that shit.
Yeah.
I think they need to put a short stick on Pat Cavanaugh or Logan Wisnauskas. We'll see what they do, but like this game, it's an ABC game. I think this is going to be the best game of the weekend. I think it's going to be a 1-goal game
because the Cannons are going to fucking fight. Like that's one thing. Like they always play hard, and I love what you're saying because if you put a shorty on Cav, do you take them? Do they all of a sudden try to? It's almost like overcompensate and try to dodge with him to score a bunch, as opposed to doing what they've been doing, which is ball movement, people movement.
Yeah,
it is a good call. I do think.
I just think the Outlaws coaching staff, they're not planning for that. So I think if you throw a short stick on him, they're gonna be like, okay, let's do this. Let's get him. We're dodging him from X, and like they're just gonna get out of sync, and it's just gonna be fucked because guys are gonna be up above the goal, running around, cutting, and
it's
I
juicy.
think they need to do something. So we'll see.
It's a great matchup. I'm excited to watch that at 3 p.m. on Saturday, ABC, ESPN Plus. That's going to be a fun one to watch. The nightcap, Whip Snakes, Water Dogs. Like, let's see, are the Whip Snakes going to make a final stand? Is half the team going to the wedding, or the boys aren't going out to the wedding? So it'll be cool. It'll be cool. Like, will Rambo be back in there, or do they go with like a Brandow, Carroll, Malone? Like, are we going to just see all the young bucks at attack? I do think like they could have success against the Water Dogs defense, but man, the Water Dogs are humming. But do we get a game where the Water Dogs come out uninspired? I mean,
I'm going Whip Snakes win, Matt Rambo game-winning goal.
Do we then who starts the next week? If that happens, who starts the next week?
Yep, it's gonna be a fuck situation for the Whip Snakes. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, on that note, great episode, Heartsy. Look forward to seeing what happens, and if Matt Rambo scores a game-winning goal, I guess I'm due for the tequila shot next week. So we'll see. All right, peace.